to when we go, okay?
Okay.
2, 1, and start.
Here we go. All right.
Step.
So we are going to make a simple cat, and on the floor Arabella is following along, and I will shoot between my face and the paper and all the things. So let's start with getting some paint. So we're going to use the primary colors. So Arabella, you're going to want red and yellow and blue.
And blue.
So I got myself some red.
And you, that's dark red.
My red is a little bit darker. And yellow. And blue. Okay, we don't need those immediately, but you're not going to use the green. You're not going to use that one. Nope. Put the tops back on those. There you go. And I might even give you a dollop of white on your tray. But first we're going to start with our pencil because we have to draw our cat before we paint our cat. How rude. All right, I'm going to use a marker. You can use your pencil and follow along. I'm going to set my paint aside for a minute. And I'm going to start. All right, so I'm going to pick off to the side is going to be my cat's face. So I'm going to use simple shapes.
Yeah.
So yes, so off, can you see over my shoulder up here?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and draw a circular shape. Almost oval. Okay. I'm doing it kind of big. Maybe I shouldn't have done it quite so big because I'm used to bigger paper. This is a little bit smaller paper. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and do a body. Think about,
Kitty body. I know how to do a kitty.
you know, Fat Cat? Think about Fat Cat. That's from a story that we read. So I'm doing a big oval. Okay.
Kitty cat. Wah!
Now I'm going to make a tail. So my cat has its tail
Mine's gonna be
wrapped around it. Nope. I would recommend that you follow along.
Okay.
And then I make the tip coming off. And then I'm going to do the paws. And on the paws, I'm going to make some bumps for the finger, like
The inside.
for the fingers.
There's only 2.
Okay, so 2 paws. Get your second paw in there. Okay. So then I'm going to put on the ears, and I use a triangle shape for the
And then
ears.
a triangle say inside.
Yes, I can add a detail and make the color part inside the ear by adding another triangle. You're right. Okay. So for the nose, I'm going to go ahead and do right in the middle, and I'm going to make it an upside down triangle shape. But this time I'm going to kind of round the edges. I don't want it to be a pointy triangle. Make it a little bit softer. Upside down, yeah, that's a toughie.
Mom. No, I mean, I know how to do upside down one. But I can't do it like a circly one.
Okay, do the best you can. See, that's the other thing about art is that we can have
That
an
could do
eraser
the little
and
hole.
try again. Actually, I'm not even worried about that. That's like that next level of detail that we're not worried about today. We're trying to keep it really simple. So when we go ahead and do
What
our
about
art,
that?
we're going to keep it simple shapes. And if you are interested in deeper drawings, that would be in an art kit that I
Mine's
do.
a skinny
But right
cat.
now, we're trying to keep it really simple shapes.
Mine's a
So-
skinny cat. Yours is a fat cat.
That was the idea, was to have fat cat.
I'm
All
a
right.
skinny cat.
So to make this simple, I'm going to go ahead and just draw the mouth coming down from the nose. Once again, we're doing simple shapes so our youngest elementary friends can follow along. So I'm doing a curved line
Yeah.
plus a curved line. Okay, and then I want my cat's eyes to kind of look like a cat, and that's really a tough thing to do. So
I'm doing it.
to the right, I'm going to
adorable
make a football shape.
football.
So that's a curved line. And then a curved line going the other way. So like a frowny line and a smile line. And then I put half of a circle line and the other half of a circle line. And I just see how the line that I already drew creates the top and the bottom of my circle. I don't actually have to draw a whole circle because that line is that I already drew is creating that shape for me. So that also gives the illusion that the eyelid and the lower lid of the cat is actually covering that color part of the eye. That's called the iris. And so you have pupil, which is the black part, and then the color part of your eye is the iris, and then you have the white part of your eye. So now for the pupil of a cat, they don't have a circle pupil like us. That kind of makes them look really unique, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna draw a slotted iris. So up and down, kind of a curved line, and a curved line, and I just go ahead and fill that in.
I
Okay.
don't like that.
And then I'm going to do my very best, which is really hard to do, on the other side to make it match. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and
Hey, Mom, I want
Draw
to
a
do it
frowny
this
line.
way. Hey, Mom.
a smile line, and then remember my half a circle, and then half a circle, and allowing those to just touch the line to create the entire iris, and then again doing it a little bit smaller inside, filling that in to make the pupil. Yes, ma'am.
I want it to be adorable kitty eyes.
Okay, you do your adorable kitty eyes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and keep moving on, my friends. Now, I drew my picture nice and big because I know that to do a good art, you wanna fill your page. So sometimes it's really hard for our youngest friends to fill their page. So I'm gonna show you a way that we can kind of address that by creating what we call a horizon line. And the horizon line is that imaginary line that's created by the sky meeting the ground or our wall meeting the floor. So if I was to imagine a line here across my paper, there, we go this way. Okay, I'm going to create that imaginary line so I will actually see it where the floor and the wall meet, right? But I'm not going to see it through my cat because my cat is not a ghost cat. It's not see-through. So I stop when I hit my cat and I imagine that line is still behind my cat even though my fat cat is there. And then I continue it on the other side as it goes through, okay? Have a seat, please. I don't want people to see your face. Thank you. Keep your privacy. Okay, so from there, I can do extra details. If I made it a little bit smaller, I could probably fit in a rug. I think Arabella has room for a rug, so we can do that. So what I would do to do that is, once again, I'm going to start from my cat's face, because my cat, if it was sitting on the rug, you won't see it through the cat. But I'm just creating a large oval shape, and I want it to come out from my cat on this side too, and I just want them to meet. Okay, So, a little squished over on this side. I wish I would have had. I probably should have let it run off my paper. What you gonna do? All right, so now I can add details to my cat. I can make my cat have, maybe my cat has a spot. Or maybe my cat has stripes.
Yours can't have everything, Mom.
Okay, so you can get creative and think of what designs you might want on your cat. My cat's gonna have even a spot on her face.
What the?
Now, you can make your cat painted realistic. You can make your cat painted fantasy. But what I really want to do is talk about creating interest in that background first. So I'm going to create with a color, and then we're going to talk about tints and shades, okay? So I don't want my background to be just one main bright color and then call it good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix some white into my blue, and this is called a tint. Okay. Now, I recommend that you use tempera paints because they wash up really easily. This is acrylic. I'm going to add a little bit more water to make my acrylic paint fluid. Sometimes it's kind of
How do you do white? I
thick
didn't
or
have
gloopy.
one, Mom. Hey, Mom.
Oh, I was going to give you white on your tray. I promised you. Okay. Let me give her a dollop of white really quick. And then you can mix right on your tray. Ooh. Okay, so don't mix it into the paint. Nope. Don't mix it in your paint container. You're going to take some blue from your blue and put it on your tray. And you're going to take, so see how I had my two blues, my two colors, white and blue. And then I mixed them near the blue, but I didn't take away all of my blue. And that's important because I want that blue for later. Okay, and I'm going to paint the background and just using this kind of a medium toned blue. You can make it whatever color you want. You could have mixed white into your yellow or into your red, but I decided I wanted to use my blue. Now you can see that I didn't blend out my paint very well, and I'm getting some streaks here, some light in one part and dark in another part, and I got a couple clumps of acrylics that aren't blended in. So you really got to make sure with those acrylics that you mix them all the way before you start painting. I really do like temperas more, but I only had one set of temperas to share with my daughter while I was doing this. So I'm going to go ahead.
Fudge, I don't accidentally tail.
It's okay. When you let it dry, and I bet you we can fix that and paint right over. All right, so I'm just trying to paint nice and neat. I got a nice big fat brush so I can try to go more quickly.
Why?
So they're not sitting there forever waiting on me. I just went into my ear a little bit. Whoopsie-doo, huh?
Ooh.
Whoopsie-doo.
Bumpsy, 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 bumpsy.
Okay. Almost all the way around, getting a little bit more paint from my tray. Yes, dear.
Remember, you have to do layers of it.
Sometimes you do have to do layers because your paint's not thick enough. So, and we don't want to have any what we call scribble scrabbles, right? We don't want to have any whites showing through. When you are trying to be a good artist, we focus on our good craftsmanship, which means painting it nice and
Good.
nice and neat.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and neat, but yes, good. And they used to call people that they specialized in something like, let's say they did carpentry, or they made brick houses, or they cut sculptures out of stone for buildings and stuff. They called them craftsmen. And you want to have a good craftsmanship, because the better you were at your job, the nicer and neater you could do it, the more money you could make, because you could charge people more for being such a good craftsman. And we want to have good craftsmanship. Okay. So on the most part, I've painted in all of my background. Now, I'm going to dab, 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 washing off my paintbrush. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some lines, and I'm going to make some tints out of this paint. So I've got my kind of medium blue. I'm going to grab lots of white. And that's going to make a lighter blue. All right.
Hey, Mommy.
How you doing, buddy? You ready? Are you ready for this step?
I need like a light purple, but I've been careful so I don't get
You don't want to mix
all
them.
of the color
Correct.
in the blue.
Because if I mixed all of my paints into my blue, I wouldn't have blue to be able to do this step, and that would be a bummer. So we always just grab a little bit and then mix in another spot. All right, so I'm going to use my light blue now, and I'm going to make a line design in the background. So I can make vertical lines. I could make, let's see, what are some other lines that we know? We know broken line. You know, wavy lines. Now you don't have to do every kind of line. You could just pick one and do it all the way across. Or you can go, okay, this is the wallpaper, and I'm gonna keep doing this line design, and I'm gonna repeat it. So I would do a straight line and a broken line and a wavy line. See how it repeats? And what's that called when something repeats? It's creating a, you know, Arabelle, what's that called? When you do something again and again.
A creation.
No, it's not the word I'm looking for. It starts with a P. If I do the same pattern again, well, I just said it. If I do the same thing again and again, like line, straight line, broken line, wavy line, straight line, broken line, wavy line, or I did red, blue, that's called a pattern. It's repeating. Something that repeats creates a pattern. Sometimes you'll have your teachers will do that for like poems and stories, and they'll say, this is an A-B pattern. Well, we can have those patterns in art too.
Oh, it was like for that race thing, you had to pull that rope. They did the A, B.
Cool.
You were there, Mom, you know. Dad was there.
I don't remember, but I believe you.
Down the elementary school.
Okay. Hey. Okay. We don't give information on the stream. Thank you. Okay. Almost done making my pattern all the way across. And ideally, you would have a pointed brush or a round brush to do this. But I was in a rush to try to make this happen today. So we're just working with what we have. And as I tell my students, hey, that's part of being an artist. We adapt. We just make it work.
If someone has nothing to look at, like at their museum, at their mom or dad's museum, and someone just stole them,
Oh, wow. What an honor to think my art could go in a museum. All right. So now
Hey, Mom, I'm gonna
I would
have
like-
white.
I would like to have some sort of a contrasting color for the floor area, okay?
I did the
So since I already did the wall blue, I have my red and my yellow to do there. And I could either go ahead and just put down straight yellow, or I can start mixing a little bit. And since I made a tint of my blue, I'm gonna go ahead and do that for my yellow as well. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my white and some of my yellow here, and I'm gonna mix a new shade of yellow, just so I'm not using my paint straight out of the bottle. I just never like to use just straight out of the container color. It's not as interesting. It becomes a lot more visually interesting when we use mixed paints. Okay, so I mixed that up, created a tint of my yellow, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the floor. So I used a cool color, right, on the wall, and now I'm using a warm color on the floor.
pink.
Pink is a tint of a warm color. So tint is when you add white to a color. So what was the base color that you added the white to make pink?
Wine red.
Yes. So red is the warm color that you mixed it with, right? So that's warm. Red, orange, and yellow make a hot dog. And then green, blue, and purple make a cool cat. So we know our hot and cool colors already, right? And now we're using those ideas and we're just building on it. Okay. So if I want to create contrast in an artwork, then I can use that idea of these hot versus cool colors. So I used that cool color on the background, so then I'm going to use a hot color on the floor to create that contrast. All right.
Mom, I got the ear.
That's all right. You can just paint over it again later. Let it dry.
Not ready.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and paint my rug. And now, since I used
Yes.
my yellow here, my red there, I think, or excuse me, my blue there, and my yellow here, I think I'm going to use some of my red. Now I could just use plain red, I could mix some white in it, or even mix a little bit of the blue in it. I think I might do that to make a little bit of what? If I mix some blue into my red, what do you think I make? Do you know? If I mix my two primaries together,
Purple.
correct. And it really is kind of a red purple that I'm making. I didn't mix too much of my blue. And we can make designs on our rug with making a tint or a shade. Now, what I would do for my students is I would let their paint dry, and then they can come back with that Sharpie marker and draw over their pencil lines again or their Sharpie lines again. So they stand out nice and dark, or you can get paint markers and go over those lines, especially for the little guys. That makes their art much more successful, as we have a hard time to create nice crisp lines. So I'm thinking we're just about done.
I'm not.
Well, we got to do our cat.
We did.
Well, I didn't paint my cat. You painted your cat. You were going rogue. You were on a mission, I think. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another new color. And so this whole time I've been using this acrylic paint from US Art Supplies. And I'm going to use some of that to create another tint because I want I'm going to create a secondary color that I haven't created yet for my cat, which is going to be red plus yellow to make what?
Orange cat.
Red and yellow make orange, yes. But I don't want it to be orange, and I don't want it to look like red, or like a red orange. So I'm going to use some of that white to tint it, and it should look a little bit more peachy. And
Don't get in the thing. Don't get in the.
Are you arting in here?
we're arting and we're live streaming at the same time.
And we're what?
Live streaming right now.
Anything the
Yes,
camera
I have the
sees.
call. We have the call. What's the name?
Anything the camera sees, it falls.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and paint in.
Another shoe.
Can,
Where's
by
the other shoe?
chance, could you please shut the door? Thank you.
Almost done.
All right.
And I need a little touching.
So I'm going to go ahead and start doing my cat.
And done.
Yay! And I don't really like this. It's a little too dark. But that's all right. I can make the spots later. How about that?
Hey Mom, I'm done. And I did not even get anything on me. But
Wow, that's pretty good.
Okay, so let it dry there, okay, Mommy?
Okay, you let it dry, and I will finish mine. And then when yours is dry, we can come back with the marker or a paint marker, and you'll be done. Sounds like a deal?
I'm already done. Okay, fine. Wait, I just need to.
All right. See you later, alligator.
I can lock the door so no one.
I would appreciate that. Thanks. Probably should have done that in the first place. Funny stuff. Okay. So let's see. It does look really red on the screen, by the way. I don't know what your monitor looks like, but it's not that red in real person in comparison. All right. So I'm going to make my next orange lighter yet. I don't like how red this is. Too red. We're going to mix in more yellow and more white. There we go. That's way more peachy. Okay. I was kind of getting a little crazy there. Okay. There we go. I've got some peaches going for my spots. Wow, they're really jamming their shows in the background, huh? Oh, we were doing so good. You can hear that. I'm so sorry. I have 4 kids and it's anarchy. So, all right, maybe do the paws. There we go. Now, because I have this fat brush, I really should have gotten a pointed round brush. Kind of stuck going over my lines a little bit. So I can come back in with a Sharpie later. Or like I said, come in with a paint marker, I recommend. Boop. All right. And, oh my goodness, I missed a whole chunk here. How odd. How unlike me. There we go. All right, now I want the tail to kind of contrast and pop out. So that's gonna be a little bit of a struggle bus. Let's see. I'm gonna do the little sections and then let's see what I can do about making that tail contrast a little bit. All right. There we go. Well, let's do the little patch over here. Oops. Got into my eye a little bit there. Oh, sad. Okay. Let's see. Maybe add some of the yellow to kind of brighten it up a little bit, I think. Go from there. There. Let's see. Yeah. That'll be contrasting. Now, I'm not exactly going for realism here with this cat. I mean, I've never seen I've seen a ginger cat, but I've never had an orange cat per se. So yes, I realize it's not 100% realistic. We're just arting. We're arting for the fun of it. This is how I see it. This is how I see my cat in my mind. And I really, at this point, I wish I had a smaller brush to get a little bit finer detail. Next time, I will take the time to make sure I have all the equipment I need. I do say, sometimes the artist is only as good as the equipment they have. Like, we can make art, I'm gonna have to go over that. We can make art anytime, anywhere, out of just about anything. But if you want to do something in particular, sometimes you just need that tool to do that thing. All right, almost there. And I can come back in and fix up my little triangles. Boop, boop, boop. Get that other orange back. Now let's get into those triangles. Alright, I'm almost done, guys. You still with me? Hanging in there? Okay. So I'm going to take that yellowy peach that I used on the tail. I'm going to go ahead and use that on my face. Get a little water on my brush. Oh, good grief. Mrs. Johnson. I'm all distracted now. All right. A little water on my brush helps that paint to flow, especially with acrylics. So I'll have kids, they'll be like, I'm running out of paint. Nah. Go ahead and get your water on your brush and spread it out a little bit. It's amazing how much you can get your paint to last and flow with just a dab of water. Awesome. Almost all the way done. All right, now I'm trying to get into these little lines with my big brush here. This is a trick. If you're lucky and you got control, you can switch hands. So I'm just switched my hands. There we go. All right, finish the ears. Don't forget, it's okay to go over the lines a little bit because we can come back and re-sharpie at the end to make it look nice and crisp. Or that super awesome magical paint marker. Those things are the bomb. They fix all sorts of mistakes. All right. Said I'll write a lot. Okay. Here, let's get into that art there. I'm going to take a little bit of my red, just a dab, get some of that white acrylic paint. Mix, mix, mix. There, you can even see. Mix, mix, mix. What am I going to use that for, do you think? If you guessed the nose, you are correct. You can get it in the ears. Get into this ear, almost done. All right, what am I gonna do about those eyes? Maybe some yellow. Actually, I think that might be the best choice right about now. Because I think the natives are restless and I'm gonna have to wrap up this live and go be a mom. All right. Awesome. There we go, guys. Once that dries, you come in, you go over your lines, and you're done. So that's it. That's all we had to do for today. Keeping it simple, right? You can do it. I hope you feel like you were successful. So using those simple shapes, and I really like to keep it to those primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, because you can take those and mix anything you want. And using white to make the tints is awesome. I usually don't put black on my palette because black is just so dominating. Once you have that black paint mixing in, you can't go over that. Like, you can't take it back. So I like to, especially with tempera paints, okay? Because it just mixes in and mixes in. Tempera paints don't dry like a plastic layer, like acrylic. Acrylic paints will become acrylic plastic, like acrylic nails, right, guys? So it becomes like a plastic layer, and then you can layer on top of that and fix mistakes. Tempera paints are water soluble. They're very washable. And so if I put the black down and I try to mix another color and put it over top, it's just going to end up blending in and just becoming this muddy mess. So I don't even put black on my palette. So if you want to help your little artists to control their art, don't even offer the black at all. And then if I ever rarely do offer the black, it's at the very end and I give them a tiny bit. And it's like, okay, you need to use that just for whatever step, this final step. All right, so I hope that you learned something about simple shapes, lines, color, creating contrast in your artwork. and filling your space. I hear the natives, they're not happy. Okay, it's time for dinner here in the Mrs. Johnson house. So you are officially now an Artsy Fartsy Club member. Congratulations. And until I see you next time, I hope that you are absolutely artastic.